Welcome to the Common Sense Investing, or CSI show, with Victor McClure and Guy Allard from McClure Capital Wealth Management Companies. For the next hour, Victor and Guy will use their combined 60-plus years of experience to answer your financial questions with their own brand of plain-spoken language and hard-hitting style.
Welcome to the Common Sense Investing show. I'm Victor McClure.
And I'm Guy Allard.
Well, Valentine's Day is over now.
It's come and gone.
I was trying to tell one of my kids, I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm a party pooper. I go, isn't this a made-up holiday by Hallmark or something?
Aren't they all? Along that line, last week we got a couple comments, right, from listeners that called up, said they enjoyed our deal about don't get trapped in the don't send me flowers, don't waste your money.
That's right.
Which is a trap.
Don't fall in that trap. They didn't mean it.
And having no association with Sherry's berries. That's hard to say. Say that twice backwards. We talked about ordering the roses and the chocolate dipped strawberries, and they had the secret code word where you get the extra discount, which was kind of neat. It was attract. So I did that. Now, as a financial advisor, we're supposed to be prudent and be effective and efficient with our money. I didn't do that. So I go on the site, but you enter your stuff, you pick your dozen roses, your 6 chocolate dip deals, and it's $64, which should have been my first red flag, but I had the code word, attract. So I enter attract, and you got to hit continue. I hit continue, and I noticed I got a $5 discount.
Oh, all right.
That didn't seem like a lot. so now I'm at $59. But okay, I'm committed, right? I'm a few screens in. It's in the middle of a busy day. And then standard delivery cost pops up. $17.99. And second red flag. And I'm thinking, well, all right, they're going to go up to her office on the 20th floor on Valentine's Day. They're busy. I'll do that. And then, if I wanted a morning delivery opposed to the 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., well, if they get there after 5, she's gone. I got to have that, right? So that was $14.99 to have the morning delivery. So I checked that, and then each time, right, continue. So now I'm another screen deeper. I'm getting buried in this thing. And then they offered the guaranteed Valentine's Day delivery. Apparently that morning delivery might not be Valentine's Day. Now that was $9.99 for the guaranteed Valentine's Day delivery. I'm 6-7 screens deep in this thing, so I checked that. And then I get the subtotal, $107.96, and then they tax it another $9. So for $116.60, my wife got 12 beautiful roses and 6 chocolate dipped strawberries. How's that for being good with your money? I couldn't believe it. And I was done. I was through the screens.
And that was the special deal that you were telling all our listeners last week?
That's right. Be sure to do that. So next year, I'm going to pick up the flowers. I'm going to get the strawberries at the grocery store, and I'm going to go take her out to lunch and hand deliver them for probably a tenth of the cost.
We had, I saw one of my Valentine's Day presents of past. Well, what we do once a month is in our neighborhood, you can put all your bulk trash out.
Right.
Well, I have a bear. It's a human-sized stuffed bear.
Right.
It costs a lot of money. I saw that in the pile.
Was it still in good shape?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Again, give it to Goodwill or something.
Going to the trash heap.
Oh.
I was like, is that bear? Oh, yeah. It was just, was it dirty or anything? No. It's just taking up too much room. I'm like,
Now, what was your Valentine's Day gift?
Oh, I did much better because I'm...
No. What did you receive?
Some sweet tarts and some milk duds, I think.
I'm gonna let that go. I'm just saying that's how that works.
Well, I told you I've spent thousands of dollars at Christmas, and I might get a thing of Old Spice. What is that? Well, I got one year I got a tie from CVS. I'm like, a tie from CVS?
I know, right? Or a bottle of cologne.
Oh, yeah. And not only do you have to buy all this stuff, you better handwrite a note and just not do that factory note that just comes with it.
Oh, yeah.
You better just put your name, put Love Victor on it. That ain't going to work.
That doesn't work.
You better put all this on there. But if they just hand you a box of Sweet tarts, you better be happy with that. I was like, what is this? What happened in here?
That's funny.
My sons asked me one time, well, this doesn't seem fair. I go, life ain't fair, son. That's what it is. It is what it is.
It's got its ebb and flow, doesn't it?
Yeah. I go, there's some things that you don't have to deal with. That's okay. I go, when, 3 kids are screaming and blah, 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 and, you're going off to work. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I got to go.
That's not everybody, of course, But I was like, uh-oh.
I'll switch gears off of Valentine's Day, unless you've got more to add.
No, can't think of any more pain to give you.
Yeah, that was brutal. My wife didn't know, and if she doesn't listen to the show, if she knew what I spent on that, she definitely would have said, what are you doing? Don't give me flowers. I was talking to my mom the other day, and I don't know if it's a colloquialism or how you would categorize it, but I didn't know it. 58 years. Do you know where the expression goodbye came from?
No.
Spell it out. Obviously, bye is B-Y-E, right? Not B-Y.
Right.
God be with ye.
Is it really?
She said that was the original deal. And I said, all right. And then she had another one. She goes, don't miss the boat. She goes, where'd that come from? And I said, well, I thought it was literal. You want to get there before the boat should
all the Irish are coming
over.
Yeah,
she said, no, that was the Ark back in Noah's day. You didn't want to miss the boat. And I said, well, a whole lot of people missed that boat. I think only one family met it. But anyway, it's kind of neat, getting the old...
there's a full replica of the Ark in Cincinnati.
I've seen it on a couple commercials. I didn't know if it was CGI or if it was a real deal.
I think they said it's exact specifications of the Bible.
I would love to go see it.
It looks gigantic.
I'd love to go see it.
I think they made it the same way, too. Just got these big giant timbers in it. I was like, that'd be kind of neat.
Can you imagine shoveling all the poop and all the stuff they had to do for that whole period of time?
No.
Man, that'd have to smell good going through there.
Reminds me of the 9-10 chickens in my bathroom at the lake house.
Did you have
my wife thought as far as 9 of them in there, 10 of them.
Were they chicks just growing?
Yeah. I told you I came home because I worked in Dallas, obviously. I've always worked here. Came home and took me up to the bathroom there, and there's chickens all in the bathtub with like little ramps so they can climb out.
When you left, that wasn't there.
No.
When you came home, it was.
No.
How did that happen?
I think my wife knows not to ask me about new pets, and they just get them. And now they're sorry for it because I got my little Chihuahuas diabetic, and I got to give him shots twice a day.
I remember.
He's blind now and all that stuff, and I said he's part of the family.
Yep.
Once they come in, they don't leave.
Forever home.
That's right.
That's right.
I go, I don't care what they do, and he's peeing on the floor. He's old,
Yeah.
I said, don't care. I go, here's a picture when you kids were babies. That's his little head right next to you. That's how long he's been in the family.
Staying.
Yep. But my life.
That's like our clients. Once they're clients, they can never leave. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully they never want to.
Well, while we get off the stuff, but we, developed this show a long time ago, decades ago, because we want to answer your financial questions. We want to talk to you in a plain spoken language, because so many advisors out there try to impress you on what they know and you don't know, and most of it is BS anyway. They'll start, reciting the Greek letters. Oh my gosh, look at the standard deviation on this mutual fund. Oh, the beta, the alpha. Woo! You wouldn't believe how good this is.
That's right.
And just by that term, people say, whoa, okay, that must be good. Now they're brushing over the fact the thing has 2.5% fees internal in it, or it has a load. It's a loaded mutual fund. That's the one thing that American funds. I like American funds. I prefer not to pay the loads.
Yeah.
But that's what. I've never heard an Edward Jones guy, when they're selling you a loaded mutual fund for American funds, tell you about the load. They kind of brush that over.
Yeah.
When we want to pull back the curtain on everything.
Yep.
We developed this show to pull back. What are the hidden fees? What are the gotchas in every kind of investment? Mutual funds, stocks, annuities, life insurance, everything. Where are the gotchas? Because if you know where all the gotchas are, it helps you avoid ones that are going to be detrimental to your financial future. And that's what we've always tried to do is knowledge is power. You've heard that a million times, right? Knowledge in investments is crucial because if you don't have it, you will be taken.
It's your life savings. You want an advisor that will answer or at least let you know what the questions are that you don't know to ask.
Right. Remember the life settlements people brought their entire dog and pony show from Waco?
Several times.
Oh, yeah. They brought them all up and they knew I was ex-military, so they brought some vets with them.
That's right.
And they said, you just don't understand. I go, well, I'm pretty sure I understand. And they go, well, the math of this is a little complicated. I go, I was a nuclear chemist. Maybe I might be able to grasp
get through
it. Go ahead. Let's see what you got. And I said, wait a minute. Tell me, what if they live longer than 4 years? Oh, some will live longer, some less, but your average is always about that. Okay, what if they all live longer? Well, it's just going to lower your return. Some instead of 20% a year, you'll get 15. I go, what if he keeps going after that? Well, that's never happened. That's not going to happen. We only sign over. Then obviously every state in America has sued them. Everybody's living like 30 years longer than they're supposed to. It was just like...
and it's morbid betting on someone dying so that you make a profit anyway.
So that's why I always tell people private investments are not for anybody normally, unless you're directly involved in it. All right? Somebody's calling you to sell it to you is rarely a good deal. There's too many gotchas. It's full of gotchas. Some of them might be completely legitimate, but there's so many gotchas in there. There's so much room to open to take advantage of you. You just can't do it. Well, we got a break coming up, folks. So what we're going to talk about a little bit today is how to get college for free for your kids. If you have any financial questions, don't hesitate to call us at 972-715-2424. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome to the Common Sense Investing Show, where your investment strategy is always based on facts instead of some sales pitch. Here's Victor McClure and Guy Allard.
Welcome back to the show. We're going to talk about how to get free college. Obviously, for old-timers like us, we don't need free college anymore, but I have something for that too, by the way.
I've heard a lot of politicians talking about that. Is that what you're talking about?
Not that kind of free college.
All right.
This is stuff that's already put in the budget, not going to break the world, not going to bankrupt the United States.
Bring it on.
So I'm not advocating for free college and free health care and all that. Trust me.
Okay. Just checking.
These are just little things. Remember my first child is a professor in New York. And it took 9 years of college. Undergrad was at University of Houston. Graduate school was at Parsons in New York. Very expensive private school.
Oh, you were sweating it the whole time.
If I had known this stuff existed, my life would be different right now. I didn't know. Believe it or not, a couple of these came from customers, clients that knew I was a veteran, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a couple things here that are pretty interesting. If you're a Texas veteran, okay? Now, I don't know if you have to be joining Texas and retiring Texas. I happen to do both. But one or the other I know you have to do, right? But I think it's called the Hazelwood Act. It will pay for the tuition and fees for 4 years of college for a child, a stepchild, and I've got to look. I can't remember if I checked it out for a grandchild.
It's for one, though, right?
Yes, it'll do one.
If you have three, you get one.
That's right. If I'd have known that, that'd save me a lot of money.
Didn't you try to get veteran put on your driver's license?
I did.
How'd that work for you?
They told me the line was very short that day, only 4 or 5 hours. Are you nuts? I don't care. I went online in 3 minutes, $24.
Renewed it.
And I've also always done that Texas Online thing. Always $59, renew your license online. I didn't realize it was a private company. It's only $24 to renew your license. I was paying double all these years.
If you're paying $54 through Texas Online, don't.
It's $24.
Yeah.
So we've got this tuition thing. Remember, it's called the Hazelwood Act. Any Texas veteran can get one of their children, stepchildren, whatever, and I think grandchildren, but don't count on that. The reason I'm saying that is I've talked to other people that, my kid's already through college. I didn't know it. But if it does work on grandchildren, might as well, use it or lose it, right?
Check into it.
But but there's also, there's other things. Let's say you're 65 years old or over. There you can get 6 semester hours free 6 hours per semester free in Texas. They basically charge you and then they waiver it away, right? They award it back to you. But 6 hours a semester for free, they're trying to encourage older adults to go, to continue with their education.
Is it a program? Is there a name for that?
It is a program. It's Senate Bill 1210, 83rd Texas Legislature, regular session.
Never mind.
It did add a grade point average to the program, all right, and established a limit on the total number of hours they can receive. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Free college if you're 65 or over. It doesn't matter if you're retired. Take some college courses. There's a couple stipulations, but they're not too bad. Another one that's out there is third son I have 4 kids. So third son, I adopted through CPS, the foster system. If you ever do that, they get free college and tuition. Now, it doesn't pay for housing and food, but it does pay for all tuition and fees.
Is it limited to one or no?
That is limited to one that went through the foster system.
So if you had 2 that went through the foster
That's right.
system, you did
They're both covered, yep.
Excellent.
And what that is different. It's not like a free tuition. It's a waiver of tuition. I know what's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, supposedly,
Semantics.
yeah, they charge your account, and the waiver wipes the account out. I go, I don't care which way they put it together. If I don't have to pay.
That sounds like a government program. You can put it on your account, and then we'll wipe it off. Okay.
So that one, any of you that have adopted, if the child has ever been in foster care or through the system with Texas Department of Public Health Services or whatever, if any of them, I was like, all right, so we got, the oldest one's already gone, right? He's a professor. Second one, we got the Hazelwood Act. Third one, we got the CPS thing. And we're thinking to our daughter, our youngest daughter, maybe we'll give her up for CPS for like a month. And so we
bring her back.
Yeah, bring her back, of course.
That, or maybe she can get a scholarship just based on grades and such.
The only issue with that is, of all my kids, they're academically, they're wonderful, beautiful children. Average, I'm not getting any Rhodes Scholars out of the deal.
I thought you had 175 IQ or something.
So I don't know. I don't think that. And plus, all of the merit-based stuff, we make more than whatever, what is it, 50 grand a year if you can't get anything
you don't
like
get
that.
anything from that.
So we can't get anything there. So pretty much, I think I'm only stuck with one. But hey, I'm having 4 children and only really having to pay for the first one and the last one. That's not too bad.
That's
but
true.
remember,
and the first one's done, so you're free and clear.
I saw those Democrats on TV said it's all going to be free soon too. So maybe I can just hold out till that happens.
Hold off, and that'll happen. We're headed that way.
That's right.
Or maybe you can ship her down to Venezuela and she can get college free there.
That's right.
That's right. Under Maduro.
That's right. I think they said you get free college, free everything free.
You can't get food, but school is free. No health care, but you can get
and all the
college.
money you want. Apparently, it takes a wheelbarrow of money to buy a loaf of bread.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have all the cash you want on top of that.
Like having Reichmarks during
Pretty good deal.
World War II.
I know. I was trying to explain. I go, explain it to my 16-year-old. I go, okay, if everybody gets the same or whatever, why would anybody work?
No motivation.
If you're going to get a check for $60,000 for not working, do you want to go to work at McDonald's for 30? Or go on a construction site for 40? Really, would you want to do that? No. What happens is huge unemployment. Now the government's even bigger because it's got to keep paying all these different things out. But I digress. If you have any financial questions, don't hesitate to call us at 972-715-2424. Again, 972-715-2424. We got a break coming up. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome back to the Common Sense Investing Show, hosted by 2 of the most experienced advisors in the DFW Metroplex, Victor McClure and Guy Allard.
Welcome. We've just come off of Valentine's Day. Now everybody's getting in the full swing of tax season.
That's right. It's coming up soon. It's
That's
right around the corner.
Pretty soon my accountant won't answer the phone. They'll be too busy apparently. So I always try to get all my stuff in there quick so they can get me out quick before the hordes start coming in.
How many of you out there are going to file an extension? Raise your hands. See, a lot of you. I
used to file extensions all the time, but I haven't done it in years now. I just do it first.
If you owe money, you pay the interest and all of that too. I mean, it's not like it costs you more. If you don't owe money, an extension's fine. But then why do you need one? It's just kind of like a catch-22.
There was an article in Market Watch that said, here's what the IRS is, their big red flags right now. You remember it used to be always like a office deduction out of your home office.
That's right.
That was always a big red flag for them.
Square footage.
Wait a minute. You're using your entire home for business. You just write off the whole mortgage.
Or lease cars that weren't 100% business related, and miles, all your miles.
Oh, yeah. You got to have a log and all that stuff.
The 3 martini lunch.
Right. What they're starting to do now, here's in order of what they said. Here's the deductions that will get their attention real quick.
The quickest.
The first one is turning into the most generous person in America.
That's right.
They said
charitable.
Yeah, if somebody makes $100,000 a year and they show a charity getting $50,000 a year, they're gonna wait a minute. This doesn't seem right? Yeah. There's no way they made 100 and gave in 50. Now, my uber liberal son in Watchguy could be close to that. I mean, he'll do stuff like it, but it's really rare.
And maybe in retirement, right? When you're really not needing the income, hopefully.
No. So you can't put a bunch of charity stuff, or let's say you give a suit to Goodwill. Well, that suit cost me $2,000 in 1978. They don't care. It's worth nothing now.
And the replacement cost is $4,000, so I'm going to claim it at $4,000. You can't do that.
Oh, see, I was thinking they got this big old giant tube TV that you can't give away.
I know, right? No one wants it.
Well, that thing cost me $3,000. I know depreciation, so $1,500. I'm gonna knock that off for charity.
Yeah.
It ain't worth $10.
It's a boat anchor. That's right.
Try to give them away. Just try and put it in your front yard. Free. Nobody will take it.
I've got a 65-inch Sony Vega, which was like the deal 10 years ago. Rear projection, right? But it was the thin one. It was like 18 inches deep.
Only 18,
and when you had to replace the lamp in that thing originally, it was a couple $100, and they would just do the lamp. They had the cartridge. Now they're like $30. I think we paid $3,000 or something, and the 70-inch was like $11,000. I was looking those up because we don't use it on eBay. Like $300. Yeah, so they depreciate quick.
So you got to be careful with that. Like whatever you paid doesn't mean anything. What's it worth now? And a lot of people just get a little too generous with themselves. Well, those shoes, I know they're a little worn and might need a sole, but they cost me $150, 15 years ago.
So you can't use replacement costs as the deduction. Well, they give you, the problem with that is they give you a blank receipt if you go to Goodwill
or anything different than what's reality on that receipt.
No, but I mean they don't fill it out and sign it.
I think they do that on purpose. Get them to give more to more charity.
We donated a huge armoire this last year, and they signed it and gave us a blank receipt.
I don't sell anything. You know me.
Yeah.
I don't return anything. I don't sell anything. I just give it away to charity.
Yeah.
Because that write-off's probably worth more than me and somebody coming to my house and telling me this is a worthless piece of crap and they don't want it. I don't need to go through all that.
That's right.
I do not. I was like selling a house one time and I thought I'd be smart. I'd stay in the house, hear their feedback. I will never do that again.
Yeah, and they don't want you there either, right? The real estate people.
Like, oh, look at that awful green bedroom. Whoa, kind of
You did that.
Hey, never mind, I'm out.
That's right.
All right, that's number one, is trying to be the most generous person. You can't give too much to charity. Number two is claiming a loss from a hobby. Now, what they could just claim as a hobby is, some people have a business thing. Oh, no, I collect this stuff. It's just lost money for 26 years in a row.
You're limited to the number of years before the IRS deems it as a hobby.
That's right.
And not a business.
Got to be very careful. They see a bunch of losses on a hobby. If you have a hobby, if you got losses, it's only as much as the hobby created is what you can write off, and people will write off 10 times what the hobby created, right? Also, here's one I didn't think about. Withdrawing from a retirement account early. Remember, there's like 3 or 4 things you can do. Take IRA money, 401k out before you're 59 and a half. 3 or 4 things.
72T and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just a few things, like first-time home buyer, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's 62 years old and he's claiming first-time home buyer. That's a red flag. Boom. But that's what you got to worry about because they look at that a lot. So it's not the home office stuff anymore, it's the other. But also, there's certain things you can't write off. I'm in the preliminary doing my taxes now, and apparently my tax cuts went the other way, and I'm paying more. And so I'm like, oh, great. No unreimbursed employee expenses anymore. That's a bad one, right? Your property tax, state tax, all that stuff is down to a $10,000 max. We got unlimited on mortgage stuff, but we'll talk about it after the break. But certain things are gone now. Entertainment expenses are getting hurt really bad. If you have any questions about anything at all, call us at 972-715-2424. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome to the Common Sense Investing Show, the home of plain-spoken, no-nonsense answers to your financial questions.
Welcome to the Common Sense Investing Show. First, we've been talking today about how to get free tuition Not the free college thing from, but the free college that's already accounted for, already paid for, just by being a Texas resident in some cases.
It's kind of a mosaic show. We're covering a lot of different topics per segment. Just depends what segment you listen to.
Just remember, if you're 65 in Texas, you can get 6 hours a semester paid for college. It's trying to promote older people going to college again.
But I understand they're going to charge you first and then wipe it clean,
That's
something like that.
Right. And if you have a child that's ever been in the foster system, or CPS, you can get tuition and fees paid for them for any 4-year college. Then you got the veterans. If you're a Texas veteran, you got the Hazelwood Act, and that will pay for one of your children tuition and fees. And I've got 2 people in the last 2 months came in and told me they used it, works perfectly. And so those are really good strategies if you're trying. I don't care if you have $5 million. You pay a lot of taxes. If you can get some free college for your kid, get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know some people say, well, they're going to go to a private college in New York, whatever. That's all right. But if you got one and doesn't mind staying here, it ain't a bad deal.
I'm just saying, all this last week, Bill Gates has been all over the news saying that he's got more money than any one person should and is okay with getting charged more in taxes and should because he had too much money.
I'm tired of rich hypocrites saying that. Why didn't they just donate all this money to charity then?
Thank you.
What they'll do is they'll donate $50 million, which seems like, oh my gosh, they're the most generous people in the world.
$100 billion or something. It's crazy.
It's about 1 month worth of interest on their money.
Maybe.
It's like me throwing a penny at a homeless person. It's that much ridiculous how much money they have. I don't see any of these politicians that think, well, why aren't you donating all of your money to it?
Maybe Bill could kick in $5 billion and get that wall built.
Oh yeah. Who was it? Who married the Heinz fortune?
Kerry.
Gary. Yeah. He said I should be paying 50-60% tax on my. He's talking about his $180,000 what senator pay or whatever.
Right.
But he makes $6 million a year in tax-free bonds.
Yep.
So don't talk about tax that or tax this other. Just this one pay. So they're hypocrites. Why don't you give away your millions if you think you're guilty?
Or give away your salary and your pension that you're going to get for being in office? How about that?
Yeah, I want to do all that stuff. All right.
I know one person that did that. Just saying.
I know. But when you got billions, it's a drop in the bucket. All right, let's talk about the RMD strategy. Remember, required minimum distributions. We put this out a couple times the last month or so, and a lot of people have called. So I want to make sure we. Remember, there's
covered again.
Right at 70.5, there's something called required minimum distributions. Sometimes it's called minimum required distributions. So it's RMD or MRD. Basically, the government has never got tax money on any qualified retirement accounts. Those are your IRAs, your 401ks, your 403bs, your 457s.
Qualified funds.
That's right. They're qualified for tax deduction.
There's 2 exemptions to that I'm aware of. One is if you have a 401k and you're still employed, you're not required to do it. The second thing is if you're in a top tax bracket when you retired, so you did the appropriate thing and converted to a Roth, you're not required to take minimum distributions. Why? They already got their taxes.
That's right. So the government will increase the amount you have to spend every year. They're trying to drain your account. In a perfect world for the IRS, the day you die, they got it down to $1.
That's right.
Right? That way they get all the tax money. Because what happens if you pass away? Let's say you pass away at 80. Your heirs will still have to keep depleting that account, albeit a less amount because it's based on their life expectancy.
That's right. Different table.
But no matter what, once it starts going, that account has to be depleted one way or another every year until it's depleted all the way, right? And so what if you got $1 million IRA, $500,000, whatever it is, and you say, well, I really want the income, the RMD from it, but I don't need any more than that. I'd like my kids to get all the money. Okay. Well, there's that RMD solution that says this. It basically has a guaranteed increasing death benefit, which makes it where from 70 to 85 or 86, you put in $1 million, you spend all the RMDs. So if they average 4% for 15 years when you're 85, you spent $600,000 out of $1 million.
40,000 times 15.
Well, the deal, it guarantees the $1 million back to your heirs. So you got to spend all the RMDs, lowering that thing out, and they will give it right back to your heirs. Yep. It doesn't start going below the $1 million to about, depends on the per, but 85 to 87 is when it starts going below the $1 million. But either way, you're going to spend most of it, and they're getting it all back.
And it still leaves a sizable amount of money to them.
That's right. And those are really, really good ideas. You'd think wouldn't be a lot of people that save money in IRAs and don't need them. Oh, no, that's not the case. There's plenty that do. And they'd like to leave that to their children, but the IRS is going to make you deplete it. Well, that's a good solution. It's called the RMD solution that says, hey, if you live to 85, 87, we're going to give it all back, and you get to spend all of that money.
We talk about all the time if you have any questions or financial things. But even if you just want to find out more about us, Victor and I, and McClure Capital, and what we do, and how we handle the managed stocks, and how we handle the guaranteed income, which in the bucket strategy is a big deal, or what our backgrounds are, we've got some great white paper. We've got a package. Be happy to send you. We're quite proud of. We've both been doing this over 30 years and have never had a customer complaint.
That's pretty good in the stock biz.
Pretty darn good. But any of that, if you'd like to, we're happy to do it. There's never an obligation. We'd love to help you, but there's no obligation. Our number is 972-715-2424.
Yep, that's 972-715-2424. Believe it or not, for every kind of issue you might have, I'd like to do this with this. Let's say I'm looking at some issues with some life insurance policies that people bought years ago. And they're about to lapse. In other words, all those premiums went to nothing.
There's some deals.
Well, there's some issue. There's always some strategies you can employ that will take care of almost anything. Like I said, this person wanted to keep their RMDs, but they wanted to give all the money back to their kids. Well, you can do that. There's a lot of different things. If you have the situation, we're going to have some possible solutions.
We do it every day.
That's right. So call us at 972-715-2424. You can always go to our website, ilovemyretirement.com. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome back to the Common Sense Investing Show, hosted by two of the most experienced advisors in the DFW Metroplex, Victor McClure and Guy Allard.
Welcome back to the show. Remember earlier in the show we talked about how to get tuition when you're 65 and over? There's a lot of benefits to living in Texas.
Yep.
Lots of benefits. Most everybody moves here and says, man, this is a great place. But I think it's the best place to raise children and do business in the world.
I think we're about full, though.
Yeah. I don't know. Amazon didn't go to New York. Now they're coming here, right? I mean,
no. That would be nice if they would, but yeah.
I think, like I said, I don't know if he wants to be in the South. Bezos, I'm not sure.
That's a good point to bring up. I forgot about that. Amazon definitely pulled out of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Even Bloomberg came on, which is a Democrat. He came on and said that, just due to a few people in the party, putting their feelings in front of the constituents.
What they're doing,
they lost a lot of money.
Oh, it's just there's $100 million in tax incentives. There's no tax if they don't move there at all. There's not like they're taken out of the coffers.
That's right.
There are 25,000 jobs coming, and everything those people spend, and everything else is going into their local economy.
But it's going to cause pollution. It's going to jam up the subway. Gosh. It's going to tear up the roads.
We don't want them. There's a real reason why corporations are leaving the Northeast and the West in droves to come to the South. That's the real reason.
Tennessee and Florida are the two states I keep hearing from that part of the country as far as the exodus. California seems to be Texas, right? But on the East Coast, them
everywhere. If you look at all the corporate locations between Atlanta and all the way into Dallas, it's pretty huge.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of them. I'm relocating from, San Francisco to New York City. You don't see it too often, right?
No. Or New Jersey,
don't
too.
Don't get me wrong. New York still has the largest amount of corporations. Dallas is number 2, by the way.
Absolutely.
They still got a lot there, but you make it the business environment. I go, you're losing 100 times what you were going to give up in taxes, but those taxes aren't money right out of the coffers. That's new tax revenue generated that you're going to waive part of it, New
Jersey's chasing them away, too. I think Connecticut is, too, as well. There's a bunch of them on that East Coast.
They don't want that stuff.
Chasing people away.
Oh, yeah. We welcome here. I don't think there's any protest when Toyota moved in. How about Liberty Mutual? None of them.
Did you see the protests on TV last week?
Yeah. We don't want you here. I'm like, well, you got what you wanted.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
That's right. And remember, everything we do is kind of based on our bucket strategy. We try to simplify it as much as possible, but everyone, you can call it whatever you want, an allocation strategy or whatever. I just like looking at a bucket, Remember, you've got your cash bucket. It's supposed to cover all cash emergencies. If you got 4 kids like me, you never know what something's going to come up. It always costs money for these kids, even in their 30s. It just keeps happening.
And a lot of people don't like to have money there because it's expensive, right? You don't earn much on that.
Well, we got people doing both spectrums. One has too much because they want it all liquid all times, so the liquidity is costing them a fortune.
Sure.
It's come up to 2% now, so it's not too bad on money markets. But for a long, it was paying nothing.
That's right.
So it's costing them a fortune. They're losing it. Then you got the others that doesn't want any in there. Well, you need a good balance. You need money in your stock bucket, whether you're making money or not.
And if you call what Victor said, we can help you, show you where to go. You can get 2% on a money market without having to jump through hoops with a debit card and electronic fund transfers and all that. Call us, 972-715-2424, if you're not aware of those.
Right. Also, you've got your income bucket, right? And then you got your growth bucket. Your income bucket, you need something that always guarantees income. You can't just go have a growth bucket. Let's say it's 100% stocks and my cash bucket. Now, there are dividend-paying stocks, and there are things like that you could have over here. But dividends aren't guaranteed. You need something that's guaranteed. The S&P 500 had dividends, 30 years ago, 5, 6, 7%. Now they're like 1.8, 1.5. You can't pay the monthly bills on a fluctuating principle. So you don't want your income-producing stuff in that. Now, bonds work fine. Okay, remember there's issues with bonds, but there's issues with
term, right now.
But you can use bonds, you can use CDs, you can use fixed annuities. Those are the ones that typically you're going to put in your income bucket. And depending on how much you want, let's say you're more comfortable with bonds and you don't care if they hold them to maturity and they're fine, you want government bonds only, that's fine, they just pay a little bit less. So you got to put a little bit more in the bucket to produce the same amount of income. There's nothing wrong with a bond portfolio.
It's an easy formula to figure out.
Annuities are so popular the last 20 years or so because I can put the smaller amount in the income bucket.
Fixed annuities.
That's right. In a smaller amount to produce a higher income stream. And so what it allows me to have more in my cash bucket and more in my growth bucket, which are much more liquid. All right? They're much more, I can do more with them. I'm more fluid in those. Income bucket, if you buy a 10-year bond, you could sell it early just like you buy a 10-year annuity. But it is going to be more restrictive. And there could be penalties if you cash out or whatever.
Sell it at a discount.
So the thought is put the least amount in the income bucket that you can to produce the desired income.
And what's perfect for the income bucket? What money's perfect hand in glove?
Fixed annuities, CDs, bonds.
Retirement accounts, because it's a forced income.
That's right. Retirement accounts are also a good thing in the income bucket because even if you don't want it in the income bucket, the government's going to put it in the income bucket anyway.
It's already there whether
you
know it or not.
And they're going to make you drain it, whatever you want. Right. It doesn't matter what you want.
That's right.
They're going to drain
it's there.
it. That's right. And the income it will produce will continue to go down because they're going to make you spend it. In other words, if you got $1 million, you get $30,000 a year if it's 3%. Well, once it's down to $500,000, that's only $15,000 a year, and so on and so on. Well, you can take that and get $80,000 a year,
increasing,
no matter what it does, and get it increasing. That's what you're doing, and you try to make it more efficient. If you do a portfolio and say, all right, I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to really optimize this income bucket so I can put in a third less or 2/3 less than I would normally have, then I'll have more in my other two buckets. And that's what you want to do. Remember, the most restrictive bucket, you want to put the least, and so there's nothing wrong with CDs, bonds, but annuities will give you the least amount to put in there. Well, that's our show, folks. I want to thank everybody for listening today. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any financial questions or like to take advantage of our no-cost, no-obligation portfolio review, Social Security Optimizer, or anything else. Our number is 972-715-2424. Or go to our website, ilovemyretirement.com. I'm Victor McClure for Guy Allert. We always appreciate your time.
The preceding show is paid for by McClure Capital and is for informational purposes only and not a solicitation or representation of any particular investment product or service. Any views and opinions do not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult with your appropriate professionals before making any investment or savings decisions. Always consider your risk tolerance, time horizon, and objectives in making any financial decisions. There is never any guarantee of future success or performance.